Alright. I guess, is that a staff? The stick the Viper carries? I think that's the name of it, right? Okay, here comes Liereyy. Acclivity for the first map for game number 1. 10 games have been played so far on Acclivity. In 2022, between the Viper and Liereyy, we'll see a 60 to 40% win rate favoring the Viper. Oh, Berber's coming in for the Viper. Britons. All right. Perfect. There we go. The webcam view is going to update in a moment, but we are in game number 1 already between Liereyy and the Viper. We need to update the stream title though. Schedule over here is not correct at this point, so let's fix that. There we go. What's going on that they are not switching over to the game though? They already started playing a little while ago. I guess I'm just going to hide this for the time being, and we are going to bring it back after they fix it. In any case, oh, there is a pause though. What's going on? I think that's probably why they haven't made the switch still to the casting view, that they're probably having some technical difficulties. But it's right now a little bit too late, I think, for this to be a restart. The players would most likely have realized about any stuck villagers or anything, so I don't think that's the reason why. I think it's probably just related to some technical issues with the stream for Red Bull. Okay, let me bring the webcam view once again.
Yes.
Okay. There we are. Hopefully the webcam view is going to work. What's going on? I'm not really sure. Regardless though, let's just focus on this one. There we go. Finally. One villager goes down over here from the Viper to Lierey's scout. Meanwhile, the Viper, well, he's got... Actually, wait a moment. What is that? Eco KD, nil. That does not make any sense. Villager, like, quite literally just lost a villager over here. It's just not working. Well, I guess we're going to find out. Seems like Lierey's about to find yet another villager. And yes, sir, he gets another villager. That's going to be the second kill on the Viper. And then on the left-hand side, well, we have extra scouts coming over from the Viper. So, what to expect over here? Britons and Berbers will have a fantastic power spike in the Castle Age after they get access to the discount, the 15% cheaper cavalry units from the stable. Meanwhile, Britons, on the other hand, they are going to get the boost in the Castle Age. They're going to get a power spike by getting 1 extra range on archer units, and that's the way the Britons work. Castle, Imperial Age, +1, +2 range on foot archer units except for skirmishers. And for the Viper, it's going to be 15, 20% cheaper cavalry units from the stable in the Castle and Imperial Ages respectively as well. So I guess we are going to find out how this one goes. Could be a very quick one as well, depending on how things play out. And the Viper so far has started this one on the back foot, as Liereyy already was able to get 2 villagers so far. And the Viper cannot really even make it inside Lierey's base. Lierey's gonna be completely walled very soon. The only area he's not walled at, he's got 2 spearmen defending. So it doesn't seem like the Viper will be able to do too much. And so far, it's been a great start for Liereyy. He's gathered almost enough resources to go after the Castle Age as well, while the Viper on the other hand is significantly behind. It's further behind by so much. But he's probably going to end up clicking up to the Castle Age, perhaps up to a minute later. He's got some skirmishers coming in as well, in addition to the scouts. Now let's see, very good unit control. What I'm very curious about though is the APM over here. By the way, the Viper did end up getting a little bit of extra TC time, so no wonder. Despite the fact that he got quote-unquote only 2 villagers, up until this point, he finds himself 3 villagers ahead. So let me take a look at the APM, and it's very high for ball players. As a matter of fact, the Viper's a little bit higher compared to Liereyy. And the thick platens. The thick platens, yeah. It seems like I'm having some of the same mushrooms over there that the production was having. The plot thickens over here as the Viper is getting to the Castle Age in a moment. Actually, he did manage to significantly offset for the much smaller amount of resources he had, probably by utilizing the market. Nope, he did not use the market, just good eco balance. Well done. He only now gets the market, for instance. And yeah.
Ready.
There we go.
Mandat.
Very good pressure over here from the Viper with the skirmishers. He's chunking a little bit of HP off those villagers, but not enough to get a kill over here. Not even close. He's gonna keep on roaming around, trying to breach through the walls and come straight in. Liereyy, on the other hand, getting to the Castle Age faster. He's got the 40-second lead over the Viper. Let's take a look at what he's got to work with. He's got a good amount of archers, so we'll see the crossman upgrade and blocking arrow upgrades come in very soon, but he does not have a second archer range. So it tells me he's gonna go for extra TCs. He's got already enough wood to go for it. Remember, the Britons get a 50% wood discount on TCs starting in the castle, so we're gonna see the 2 TCs coming out for Liereyy right away. Or at the very least, as soon as it's possible for him to afford that after going for all the upgrades he needs. So we're gonna see a crossman upgrade on the way. We'll see blocking arrow as well coming in a moment. And notice Lierey's unit control over there. He prevented the archers from striking so that he would still have the surprise factor over here against the Viper. The Viper realized. The Viper had vision over here. He saw, and now he's coming in. Take a look at that. Lierey's gonna try to break through. He takes the village down. The Viper was using to try and get the wall up over here. Yeah, and Viper's defenses do not seem like they're gonna be strong enough. Down south. Second TC's on the way for Liereyy, and the third TC's finally on the way on the left-hand side as well.
Yay. Ready.
Beautiful. Viper might actually be able to get 1 villager over here with the skirmishers, but it's probably just going to be peanuts. If Liereyy is ever able to break through over here, these crossbows, they are so long range that he should be able to snipe villagers from so far away. Take a look at this. This is the danger zone right here. Danger zone for the Viper, and he loses 3 villagers already. Hot damn. 7 villager kills for Liereyy less than 11 minutes into the game. He didn't even breach through, and he's already doing so much damage. While the Viper, on the other hand, he's gotten husbandry now. He's got knights on the way, and he could potentially counter the crossbows, but he's gonna need a good amount of knights, and most importantly, he's gonna need to venture out into the open to try and find those crossbows exposed somewhere. But Lierey's done a good job of bringing the crossbows back home as well, so these are not exposed anymore. So Lierey's gone forward, he struck, he did damage, he dealt damage, right, and then he withdrew the units again. So very well played in that sense. Hey, Mate Bear. Hi, welcome back as well. And welcome to everybody who might be watching the stream over here for the first time or might be returning. Hope you guys are having a great time watching Red Bull Wololo Legacy. On my end, I'm having a fantastic time. Bearing some technical issues we've been having with the clean feed and the webcam view that you can see over here. It's been pretty good. It's been pretty good. Wilbaro's coming in for Liereyy. Fantastic economy he's gonna have to work with, and TheViper. TheViper's on 2 DCs. He's got 2 stables to work with, but he cannot really produce from both stables at the same time, and if he does not go for a 3rd DC, he's certainly going to keep on falling further behind in economy. So right now, Liereyy has put himself in a fantastic spot. He's ahead in workers, he's ahead in military. That is not really something you want to hear if you're in Viper's position, of course. You want to have at the very least a chance of getting ahead in military so that you can go forward and punish your opponent for going for full economy, but that's not being the case, and TheViper is going for economy after having gone for military and failing to do so, and now he's making a switch to military once again, and he's kind of struggling to keep both DCs working, so he's just going to keep on falling further behind by the looks of it than Liereyy. Lierey's in a great spot. One thing we're noting though, in something that's kind of hard to see because of the Red Bull logo up in the north, is that the military value is actually quite close for both these players because Lierey's units are so much cheaper for gold cost. Here we go. Viper's gonna start putting the pressure up, and Lierey's reaction is swift and precise. Viper keeps on roaming around, and he'll try to breach through, but it's unlikely he'll be able to do too much by the looks of it. Well, we'll see. Extra archery range is on the way now for Liereyy. Now that's the first time he adds an additional one, since he went for the first one in the fuel age, and it indicates he might be thinking of making a heavier investment into military, which is great because he's got a much stronger economy, and if you take a look at the resources, you'll see he'll be on his way to the Imperial Age very soon. Increasing production is absolutely instrumental for Liereyy, as it's going to allow him to get much more units before he gets to the Imperial Age and eventually to our ballistas. The Viper, on the other hand, he's got double stable night production right now that he's able to sustain for the most part, and he's getting up to 20 nights, but is that going to be enough? It does not seem to be that it's going to suffice. Liereyy, he's got a castle coming up, a defensive one, and the Viper's not being collecting stones, so it doesn't seem like he'll be able to go for that at all. And with this castle coming up over here, Liereyy basically prevents the Viper from putting any pressure from the right hand side. And you know what? Lierey's got 14 stone miners, so very soon we could even see the red player go for a castle probably further north around this area, for instance, something like this, or potentially a castle on the hill over here could be really good. And notice that the Viper is trying to go for a siege workshop over here, but it's simply not going to be strong enough against the defenses that Liereyy has been able to put up with the castle. Wilbaro's is coming out for the Viper. Meanwhile, Liereyy, he's off to the Imperial Age. He's gotten Wilbaro a few minutes ago, and he's already on his way up. Conversions over here coming out from Liereyy, pushing Viper's Knights away. Yeah, and once again, it's looking great for the red player at this point in time. Now, I want to know who you guys are rooting for over here. Are you rooting for a full series? Are you rooting for Liereyy, or are you rooting for the Viper? Personally, I'm rooting for a full series. And yeah, I think either of these players can definitely move on to the semifinals, so I am not going to go as far as to predict who's going to win, but well, we do have some match history, right, between both these guys. I guess you can probably use that. Are they doing more matches simultaneously, or only one set at a time? They are doing more than one at a time. They are doing this one, and then Hera versus MBL is taking place in on the alternative stream, on the alternate channels. That's going to be twitch.tv/RedBullEN. If you want to watch Hera versus MBL at the same time, we're going to be focusing on this one only. And we are not going to provide coverage for the other one. We are just going to stick to what they show in the mainstream. Mainly because it's going to be a very long one, as is already. But yeah, if we are done with this one before the alternative stream is done with Hera vs MBL, we're most likely going to raid them. Clock's too much for me to root for a full set, for a full series, right? Imperial Age is here, ready for Liereyy and Viper. He's not even close, nowhere near. He's got double TC villager production despite having 3 TCs. He's been struggling to keep production going, and he does have triple stable knight production with chain bar. I don't know for sure, but Liereyy very soon is gonna get access to our ballistas as he's going for the upgrade right now. Chemistry is gonna come up soon after that as well. We're gonna see ballistics as well, and all of a sudden Viper's units in the castle age will not stand a chance against Lierey's. There we go. I see. Some support coming in for the Viper. I'm kind of wondering how many people are rooting for Liereyy to take the set over here. Regardless though, the conversions are coming up. Now the Viper is going to be able to dodge many of these though. 2 conversions still do end up connecting. And now we have our ballistas over here. The Viper's got the knights surrounding the ballistas, but it's not going to be strong enough. Liereyy gets to a choke point over here, created by the Viper himself by deleting the house over there and make sure, yeah, that there is no choke points for Liereyy to work out of. But Liereyy honestly could have gotten to this very small tile over there and he would have been able to clean out these knights even more easily, but it's going to be over anyway. With the Viper losing all of these units, he goes down to call the GG, and Liereyy takes game number 1. 22 minutes into it, almost 23. 1-0 for the red player. There's a little bit of a delay though on the webcam feed, but you're going to see the reaction from the guys in just 1 second. Meanwhile, I'm just going to get myself some water. There we go. Just like the Viper. Let's take a look at the achievements over here before hopping out. We'll see for military, a 1-to-1 KD ratio, like a dead even KD ratio. Of course, this is much better for Liereyy because he was training much cheaper units, much lower value units compared to the Viper. For economy, the economy from Liereyy was so much stronger compared to Viper's that of course KD is going to look even better from that regard. And the society stat over here of a higher villager max count for Liereyy also shows a much stronger economy throughout the game. And even though at the end the Viper started picking up some steam over here in terms of economy and he was trying to catch up in worker count, it was just not enough. And after losing all the army at the end of the game, Viper was not really going to be able to hold on against Lierey's Arbalisters anyhow, so let's just go back. Aztecs coming in for the Viper, and the game's going to begin in just 1 moment. Elo right now for both these players is exactly even, 2602 for both these guys. Lithuanians, so Aztecs versus Lithuanians. The Viper and Liereyy respectively. We'll jump into the game in just 1 moment. Here we are. Let's switch Liereyy over to the red color once again. And I'm just going to pause this for 1 moment until the webcam views catch up, or at the very least until we see the players come in into the game. So that we have the webcam feed, of course. There we go. All right. Perfect. So welcome you guys to the next one of the set, the Viper and Aztecs, Liereyy and Lithuanians. Taking a look at these player civilizations, we'll see that both have fantastic monasteries. They have fully upgradable monks, and the Aztecs are going to be even stronger than that because they do get extra HP as part of one of the civilization bonuses for Aztecs, which gives the monks 5 extra HP per each monastery technology that they research. Liereyy on the other hand though, Lierey's got an incredible civilization to work with on a map like this if he is able to get a hold of the center. If he does end up getting control of the center, he'll get access to all the relics, and we have all 5 relics of the center over here. You can see it. If Liereyy does end up getting this one, ends up getting this one, right? That's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5 relics over here. We could potentially see a castle come up for the red player, probably. Oops, sorry. Could potentially see a castle come up. Oh god. Yes, the castle come out for the red player around here. And he will be able to go for Liereyy. He will be able to upgrade them. Get extra attack with the relics as well. And that'll be extremely hard for the Viper to hold on against, no matter what he goes for, especially as he's going to be relying mostly on monks, right? The Aztecs do not get halberdier. They are not quite as strong against cavalry units. And monks are going to be effective only so far, right? Only so far. Definitely not effective enough against a large amount of cavalry units coming your way, so Viper's certainly going to want to try and get some control over there. Liereyy does have the Viper beat to the castle edge though, as the Viper did go for a few military units and Liereyy just went for full walls for the most part. The Viper was able to get the scout down from Liereyy, and that's about it. No villagers dead just yet from the red player just at this point in time, so yeah, Viper's kind of on the back foot. It's going to be able to go up to the castle edge, but he's already about a minute behind. As a matter of fact, it's going to be more than that. About a minute and a half behind Liereyy, the Viper has clicked up to the castle edge. So far, no one has gotten any docks up in the lakes, so we do not have any fishing ships coming out from any of these guys. The economy is going to be relying on only the TCs for the time being. Once we get to the castle edge, we could see extra TCs come up, of course. So early wins in the end, I guess. Well, that's an interesting way to put it. The Viper's team bonus, or the Viper Civilization team bonus, will provide them with 33% faster gold income from relics. So there is that, yes. If the Viper ends up getting all 5 relics, he's going to be in a much better position. If Liereyy ends up getting all 5 relics, that's going to be so hard for the Viper to stop as well. So we'll see what we get. So far, Lierey's got into the castle edge, and we see knights coming up. And he's got both these stables built in such a way that the Viper cannot really spot these easily. And if you take a look, the Viper did not know the stables were there. Now, he's expecting Lithuanians to go for cavalry because that's what Lithuanians do in this matchup, as opposed to going for something like a smash, which they can also go for. But over here, he was probably expecting to see knights. And now he sees some coming out. The archers are going to get cleaned up. Liereyy is going to start putting some pressure forward. Interestingly enough, though, in order to go up to the castle edge, Liereyy had to sell the stone, so he cannot go for extra TCs. And he has not been collecting stone, so he does not really have enough right now to go for a castle forward at all. Beautiful. Eagle Warrior upgrades on the way for the Viper now, and see a monastery here for Liereyy. Got a lot of the quick walls over there. He went for the house specifically to protect the monk over there and potentially guarantee the conversion. There's more on the way, more conversions. 1, 2, coming up. And Lierey's going for the quick walls, but it's not going to suffice. Still though, I think the knights over here do come out on top, don't they? They don't. It seems like the numbers are favoring the Viper quite a bit. Now, Liereyy is producing from 2 stables, right? So he's going to ramp up his numbers pretty quickly. But this is coming at a cost. If you take a look at the TC, Lierey's not producing villagers at all. Now he's going for 1, but he spent about 2 minutes, over 2 minutes, without villager production. Just going for full knights over here, and that allowed the Viper to catch up. Remember that the Viper was behind the villager count by quite a bit. So despite the fact that the Viper could not get a single villager over here still from Liereyy, he was able to catch up. And not only that, he was able to surpass Liereyy in economy. He managed to get one of the relics already, so that's going to be +1 attack on these guys without having to go for any upgrades. Here he's trying to get the raids going. Oh, and it's open though! The Viper left one hole over here between both these houses, and now Lierey's coming up, and the Viper, let's see if he reacts in time or not. He's a Bull player on point over here. That's gonna be 2 villages going down for sure, and these knights might end up cleaning up the entire gold if the Viper does not realize the balance, and the Viper is paying attention forward for the most part. So he doesn't realize about this, but now he does, and he brings the villagers back. But the damage over here has already been done. Liereyy up on 8 villager kills. Up from 0 just a few moments ago, getting a 3 worker lead over the Viper once again. And in the end, the Knights do end up going down, but the damage over here has been fantastic. Fantastic from Liereyy. And we'll see if the Viper can strike back. He does have a very strong Eagle Warrior production, while Liereyy, on the other hand, does not really have too many Knights left. So this could be a prime opportunity for the Viper to get some damage done. The great thing about Eagles over here is that the unit's going to be so cheap, and it's going to be so strong, so resilient, that once you get chainmail armor, if you split your army up into individual groups, you just go around, try to spread them out. You start knocking on Lierey's door over here, start knocking on Lierey's door up in the north as well. Try to split your army up and overwhelm your opponent's ability to keep the walls up, to defend themselves. If you just find one opening, you can just start streaming Eagle Warriors in. And because they are so resilient once you get +2/+2, once you get your Eagles underneath your opponent's TC, they are going to be idle basically, because you can just replenish your Eagles faster than the TCs take them down. Assuming that you have a good amount of barracks producing them, of course. And that can result in indefinite idle TC time, of course. So the Viper does have an opportunity over here, but obviously Lierey's going to put up a fight. He has been going for Knights, and he does manage to get to a good amount right now. Liereyy has learned nothing from that. He should be all in on the Cavalry Archer, but that isn't that with Magus though. Oh, but Lierey's opening the gate! By accident, now the Viper can't come in. There we go. He's taking the gate down before coming in, and now he's sending the pikes. He's sending the Eagle Warriors. He's got the monks over here, and Lierey's getting surrounded. And he calls a GG 14 minutes into the game. The Viper equalizes the set. And it seems that we might be on our way to a potential full set over here. Well, we know that we have 4 games guaranteed at the very least. And you can see the reaction over here of the players with Liereyy just touching his lip. Let's go and take a look at the achievements before hopping out. We see for military a stronger KD for Liereyy, getting a 5-to-4 KD ratio, while for economy we have a stronger economy for the Viper, collecting about 900 extra resources, which, given the fact that his units were cheaper to produce as well, is going to get them a long way towards getting game number 2, right? And he did end up getting it. At the end of the day, the Viper ended up losing more units compared to Liereyy, with 8 villager losses over here versus only 5, but because Liereyy also had like an awful amount of idle TC time, it's understandable that you know, it took some time for Liereyy to catch back up over there, and in the end he couldn't even do it. So let's go back. So for the next one, there is Bulgarians for the Viper, and Liereyy on the other hand. I guess we are going to find out in a moment. Bulgarians. The map is going to be at the Atacama, by the way, so Bulgarians make sense from the Viper. What do we get from Mr. Liereyy? Let's take a look. Alright, he's got Magyars. Yes. Once again, we're just going to wait a little bit until the players hop into the game, or at the very least the main feed hops into the game, so that we have the webcam feed. It seems like we are going there, by the looks of it. Yes. For the opener though, for game number 3, Lierey's going to open up with an archer range over here. He does have Magyars. And the Viper on the other hand, the Viper's got stable, I would assume, coming up somewhere. No, no stable. He's just going to make a play for Minotaurs. This is very similar to what we saw in the past with Bulgarians. And it can be very strong. We haven't seen it on this map still, and the players do begin very far away from each other, so I'm not really sure the Minotaurs upgrade is going to be good enough, especially as Liereyy is going to open up with archers. So he should be able to hold on against commentate, and he will do so. He's got a stable on the way right now as well, so he can add scouts into the mix as well. And it seems like the Minotaur's play, the Minotaur's opening over here for the Viper was just not strong enough. Liereyy was able to defend himself pretty easily. Is anyone showing the B stream? Can you possibly cast it? Well, I mean, we are I'm not going to Twitch series, no. But you can watch it on Olu stream, I think. Otherwise, you can do Twitch TV/ Red Bull EN, and T90 and Dave, they are casting Hera versus MBL set. Which I was very curious about as well, but yeah, we're going to stick to this one for the time being. Good defense for the Viper, but not strong enough. Liereyy does end up taking the scouts down, and now he might be able to get a villager down. He's going after the Veil. He cannot really get it though. The Viper does end up pushing the units away. But he might end up losing a villager here though. Think? Not quite. Even if the Viper were to lose 1 or 2 villagers over here, he's still significantly ahead in worker count, mainly because of the efficiencies. We'll take a look at that in a moment, but it seems like he might end up losing 2 villagers. Not quite. Nice quick walls though from the Viper. He saves the weak villager over there, but he's going to have another one exposed over here. And that one's going down. Villager dead. 2 villagers down already from the Viper. He does have some efficiencies on the right hand side, so that compensates for that a little bit. But it's still going to be a very, very close actually, it's going to be a very close worker count for both these guys. Scale bar the armor's on the way for Liereyy. We might see some villagers going down over here from the Viper still. But he's gone for a few extra fishing ships. He's got the 5th one on the way, so he could potentially lose like 2 additional villages, and he shouldn't really be falling behind too much. He has gotten a lot of extra LTC down compared to Liereyy though, so that's certainly hurting the Viper. And his economy is just a disaster, man. Lierey's roaming around, pushing the Viper away from the Woolens on the back. To be fair, there's almost no resource left over here for the Viper to collect from, so now is a good time for him to try and make a play for the center, and he will go for it. He's got a tower on the way. The Viper, that is. Fantastic. Liereyy scouts are looking great in numbers. Keep in mind that because he's playing Magyars, he gets forging for free. And he did get Scale Bar than Armor himself. And even though the Viper does have forging and Scale Bar than Armor himself as well, he did spend extra resources into that. And he's struggling. Liereyy will end up getting a village down over here. 2 villagers down. 3 villagers down from the Viper. Trying to get the tower up over there. And even though we still have only the blue player going for fishing ships, Liereyy finds a 3 worker lead over the Viper. And what a great opening for the red player so far. It seems like this series might just feature very quick games over here. And whoever gets the lead early on seems to be able to snowball it out of hand extremely quickly. We'll see if that's the case for Liereyy. So far, he's been able to get 6 villages. It's not really an opening that the Viper's going to be too happy about, of course. Now Lierey's going for the center as well. Alright, yeah. He had to go to sleep, no problem. These games are going up on YouTube the next couple days. So if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, you definitely want to go and take a look at that. !YouTube or just youtube.com/NovaYoE. But these are going to be also highlighted into individual VODs on my Twitch page. So twitch.tv/NovaYoE/videos. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you prefer the VODs, on my Twitch channel I have the VODs available right after the stream. You don't have to wait for me to upload them on YouTube as well. So just keep that in mind. Definitely worth keeping up on both platforms. Thank you, Chicho. Are you casting Hera's game after? I don't think so. It's been very long. Between the first 2 days, Friday and Saturday, my voice is starting to give up already, so I'm not too comfortable going for much longer than necessary. So we are going to stick to Liereyy and the Viper. And then that's going to be it. Hera versus MBL is being cast right now by Dave and T90 at twitch.tv/RedBullEN. so you can catch it over there. And I believe Onlu is providing coverage for that one as well. But we're going to stick to this one only. For today, that is. Bloodland's on the way for Liereyy. He's going up to the Castle Age. The Viper's not managed to get enough food to click up to the Castle Age just yet, but he's very close and he's going to be on his way very soon. Notice though, Lierey's under a little bit of pressure over here. The Viper plays his cards right. He might be able to find a villager or two, as Lierey's economy is still exposed at places. But doesn't seem like it's going to be the case. Liereyy does manage to get the walls up just in time. Yes, sir. Quick walls coming up between the gate, the house. It's a fantastic defense. For the most part for Liereyy. And the Viper, well, he's kind of on the back foot still. Lierey's got more military units. This is going to be significantly faster to the Castle Age. And the attempt from the Viper doesn't really get him much of anything. I love the defensive towers from the Viper, but this is the kind of play that's going to delay your way up, right? And if you take a look at Liereyy, Liereyy has not really gone for that too much. As a matter of fact, he does not have a single defensive tower. He's just been banking on walls and the archers. So now he's coming forward. He's got Crossbowman and Blocking Arrow on the way. Let's check this out. He's going past the towers from the Viper with the scouts, just trying to find some exposed economy, and he's going to be able to. Two villages in the back of Viper's economy are completely exposed. And take a look at Lierey's unit control. He's blocking one villager while taking the other villager just to delay this one enough to bring the extra scouts after taking the first one and collect both in the end. Well done. He ends up pushing the Viper away from the woodland on the right hand side, actually the stone mine. And Lierey's gameplay over here is absolutely fantastic. He might be able to get 1 or 2 additional villagers over here. And this is just crazy. Lierey's performance is out of this world. Ends up getting yet another villager, pushing the villagers away from the Viper. And you take a look, the worker efficiency for the Viper in the last minutes just crumble down the ground to 35%. Not even close. Second TC is coming up for Liereyy as well, so if it was not enough damage that he's done so far around the Viper's economy, now he's going to be able to get even further ahead, right? By getting extra villagers down. Notice as well that the Viper ran out of fish on the right hand side, and he's got 8 idle fishing ships over here. So while his economy shows a number of workers over here, the effective economy he's got right now is not anywhere near as high. There's a chance for the Viper to get some damage done over here as well. He's gonna try and dive in, but Lierey's paying attention. The Viper was just fishing over there, but Liereyy realized that now on the right hand side, yeah, even the fishing ships from the Viper will go down to the units from Liereyy now that he starts going for knights and it's just not scouts anymore. It's not just scouts anymore, rather. It's gonna be significantly harder for the Viper to really do much of anything with the fishing ships over here. He's been trying to go for his own knights as well, but he's not been able to keep up for the most part. He's done a great job putting so much pressure over here. Yeah, and he'll end up getting more fishing ships down as well, so he does increase his lead against the Viper by a little bit more. Little by little, the advantage for Liereyy increases so far. The Viper is going to find himself hopeless in the next few minutes unless something significant happens over here in favor of the Viper, unless he's able to work his magic over here and find, I don't know, probably like 10, 15 villager kills against Liereyy. I guess that's probably at the very least, because if you take a look at gather economy time, between all the inefficiency around Viper's base, Liereyy has managed to get 1 extra hour of gather economy time. Now that's, in a vacuum, that doesn't really sound too bad, especially when you consider the late game situation of the game where we have over 100 villagers for each player. But in this position, with only 7 hours of gather economy time for the Viper, it's a significant lead in economy for Liereyy. So yes, this is the best of 5 indeed. And there we go. The Viper just calls the GG. He cannot take the engagement against Liereyy. And he knows after this one, there is no way for him back. He had the resources to go for a Krepos, but he was not really going to be able to do too much over here at all. So, oops. Let me just mute that real quick. And let's take a look at the achievements then. Let's wait a moment though as the Viper calls GG, and we see the webcam feed over here update and catch up to us. Let's take a look at the achievements now before jumping into game number 4, right? Liereyy 2, Viper 1. 74 KD ratio, a little bit higher than that even for Liereyy. While for economy, we do have a stronger economy for Liereyy, collecting about 2600 extra resources with a stronger economy to work with as well, a higher work account, especially towards the end of the game. Yeah, it's looking absolutely fantastic for Liereyy for game number 3. We'll see what we get for game number 4. We'll take a look at the home maps once again and the remaining civilizations. Let's go back. I think that they'd much rather have had this match as a final. It would have been an epic final for sure. And yeah, probably. But it is what it is. And in any case, it's great that we get this matchup at all, right? Like either of these players could have gotten eliminated, for instance, before. So it's great that we have this at all. Saracens coming in for the Viper. The map for game number 4 will be enclosed. The Vipers got Saracens. What do we get for Liereyy? It's going so well that they are actually providing us with alternative casters with a clean feed, which is the one that I am utilizing right now, which does not have commentary on top of it. So you can choose if you want to commentate using the same point of view as the main stream. In my case, I have chosen to just leave the clean feed on in between games and commentate the games using my own point of view. We'll jump into game number 4 as it's already here. Let's go. And we do have indeed Saracens versus Franks. The webcam feeds are going to update in just one moment. You just gotta keep in mind that on the main stream, they only jump into the game when they are about 40 seconds or so into it. So yeah, there we go. This should be about synchronized, I think. Regardless though, Saracens for the Viper, Franks for Liereyy. The Viper is opening with archers. Liereyy is opening with archers as well. He could have gone for the stable. But yeah. Just as I was talking about how good the video was. Oh no, the video is great. But I take the webcam part of the video feed and put it on top of my casting, so that's why it looks like this. This is the part that shows the webcams, but it looks fine on the main stream. I don't know if I'm making myself clear. I'm just compositing the webcam view on top of my stream, but on their end, they do not have this out of sync. Anyway, yeah. And I'm so happy that they are providing the opportunity for us to do so. Anyway, Legends coming in for Liereyy already. And the Viper's got a market coming up. He's not really gone for too many units. Take a look at Lierey's side of the map, and he's got some skirmishers coming out over here. Not too much, not too many. And it's just going to be a play for the castle. It seems like the Viper's going to be the first one to go up though, especially because he's playing Saracens. If he makes use of the market, he should be well on his way to the castle age. And there we go. The Viper should be on his way up. Liereyy, very early into the game, by the way, 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Liereyy, on the other hand, is gonna be a little bit later to it. And he's got some military units he's gone for, but because he's open with archers, despite playing with Franks over here, he's lacking mobility, and now he's bringing the units forward, but it's taking so long. And the Viper knows he's been tracking these archers, or rather the skirmishers and the spearmen over there. He's been tracking these units, and he's very unlikely to take any damage from Lierey's forward. He's got the stone stable coming up, the Viper that is. Yeah, Liereyy. Liereyy might be able to find the village over here though, as the Viper's focusing on the right hand side. Lierey's going to get a villager down over here. The Viper pulls all the villagers away. And And that's one villager dead. First blood in game number 4. Going in favor of Liereyy. We might see another villager going down as Lierey's bringing the scout over here. He's going to get another villager and he might even get a third one. Let's take a look. The Spearman's over here from the Viper. He defends really well, but that's another villager going down regardless. Scout goes down for Liereyy, but he already gets tons of damage done very early on. 5 minutes into it only. What a great play over there from Liereyy. He's already going to find himself 5 workers ahead compared to the Viper. And obviously some of that is from the fact that the Viper's going up to the castle age earlier. And there is a lot of damage that the Viper's gonna need to do fairly early on into the castle age to offset for that, because it's not only getting the villagers down, it's also pushing the Viper away from gold for quite a while. Because he's going for knights, so we see this from him going for scale bar than armor, from him going for bloodlines, right? And he's got the stable over here. And because the Viper's going for knights, being pushed away from gold over here is absolutely horrendous for the Bull player. Let's take a look at gather economy time actually. It's higher for the for Liereyy right now. Makes sense. How about will Liereyy have to throw in order to lose this? I don't think he would have to throw. I think the Viper can definitely find some good damage if he goes forward and plays his cards right, but it's going to be pretty difficult for sure. I think Liereyy should be able to defend, but if Liereyy ends up losing a villager or two over there, I don't think it's going to be a throw unless he has like all these villagers without a single spearman around them or anything to defend them with, right? But we'll see. Viper's cleaning this up. Well done. But unfortunately for the Bull player though, he's got a single stable, so he's not really going for too much in terms of military production. Instead we see a second DC come up. I guess he's probably taking advantage of the fact that he's gotten to the castle age earlier to guarantee a villager lead. By going for the second DC, he knows that Liereyy won't be able to keep up with villager production. Thus, he should be able to get a lead in villager count over here, for the most part, that is. And until Liereyy goes for an extra TC, he's going to start falling behind in villager count. And this could be really, really good for the Viper. He's got the third TC on the way as well. And Lierey's going for 2 stables in the monastery. So it's going to be full aggression from the red player instead. Viper's caught up in villager count for the most part already. Only one less villager. He was housed over there for a moment. He's worked that out. I think, was he housed actually? I think he might not have been. Anyway. Monastery is on the way now for the Viper as well. Alright. Good amount of knights coming in from Liereyy over here, but it's gonna take some time before he gets enough so that he'll be able to just roam around the TCs or potentially stick around the TCs. He also will need chain bar than armor for that, and right now he's got only scale bar than armor for +1/+1. So without a +2/+2, these knights are not anywhere near as resilient as they could be around the TCs. And even though he's got enough to still push the Viper away from resources, it's not enough to guarantee a lot of extra idle villager time from the Viper, as after all the TCs should be able to take care of the knights if they stick around for too long. And now the Viper, he's got some camels coming out, he's got the monk over here, he's defending himself really well. Probably a little bit too conservative though with the defenses. He's get the villagers over here garrison for so long as opposed to collecting gold, right? And that certainly hurts his gather economy time. If we take a look at that once again, it's still higher for Liereyy, despite the fact that the Viper already has managed to get a 6 villager lead just because of how much idle villager time he's getting from garrisoning over here for way too long. Let's take a look to see if the Viper can defend. I think he already got the conversion though, so the monk's going back. Ends up getting picked up, and Lierey's push over here is starting to get a little bit stronger. Once again, I still would love to see +2/+2. The Viper right now, he's on +1/+1 himself for defenses, so it's not like Lierey's going to struggle too much against the Viper's units necessarily. It's just that they are not going to hold on too well around the TCs, potentially. There's a second stable on the way for the Viper to increase production. And it seems like he's just gonna be sticking to camels. Now, Liereyy did manage to get the second and third TCs up himself, though. Wait, there's a villager going down, actually. Oh, buddy! Rip. Bye-bye. The Tiger's going for more, but he cannot really do much of anything. Regardless, though, Lierey's second and third TC will barely allow him to keep up with villager production, but the Viper, as long as he keeps all the TCs working, should be able to hold on to his 10 villager lead currently, and that should be enough for him to catch up and gather economy time very soon as well. Plus the fact that he's spending fewer resources on camels, which are going to defend him really well against the knights. Viper should be fine over here, and he's been able to stabilize, despite a pretty horrific start of game number 4 for the Bull player. Wheelbarrows coming in now for Liereyy as well. The Viper doesn't really have it. He doesn't have heavy plow. Liereyy does have that one, so for eco upgrades, Lierey's gonna be better off. The Viper still, though, offsets for that by simply having more villagers. Liereyy seems like he's gonna keep on pushing harder and harder. He's got the monastery, so it's gonna be a lot of knights. Gonna be monks coming in from the red player as well, and now the Viper's trying to go forward. He runs into the monastery from Liereyy. I don't think he was expecting to face these units from the red player, but he's going to take the engagement regardless. This is a big one. Whoever comes out on top over here is going to have great momentum. Now the Viper, despite having played for the economy for the most part, is going to try and take the engagement over here. Liereyy does have some knights over here. Who's going to come out on top? Very hard to tell. We can select all the units, and it seems like Liereyy is cleaning this out. Yes, he is. He's pushing the Viper away, but the Viper's defender's advantage should be strong enough for him to hold on without taking damage. So despite the fact that Liereyy got the victory in that engagement over there, he's not won the war just yet, and he did not get the momentum that was anticipated, mainly because the Viper was smart enough to bring the units back before losing everything. Otherwise, he was not going to have enough to keep on defending himself, so well done. There's a 4 TC on the way for Liereyy on the left-hand side, as there is a 4 TC coming up for the Viper on the right-hand side as well. So it's still neck and neck for economy. I do love all the pressure that Lierey's been putting against the Viper, for sure. For the most part. It's just not been enough for the time being. Well, let's check. There we go. Nice engagement coming up over here. Once again, Lierey's going to come out on top, for sure. So Viper's got a bail. The problem for the Viper is that he does not really have too much room to go back to, right? Like to retreat over here. And there's a good amount of monks over here from Liereyy, certainly making a big difference, while the Viper, he's got only one monk over here. So he's gonna need to go for yet another stable in order to keep up with production, because right now it's not enough. Actually, is that the problem? That is not the problem. The Viper does have 4 stables over here. That is not it. It's not a production potential issue. It's an economy issue. He cannot really afford to go for as many units, especially when he keeps on losing so many camels. Liereyy is playing with Franks, which means that he does not get access to camels, which means that he has gotten 5 conversions from the Viper, which take 5 units away from the Viper and adds them to his ranks. So yeah, this castle is absolutely instrumental. The Viper manages to get this up. He prevents Liereyy from still pushing on the right hand side, but if Liereyy is able to deny this castle full stop, the Viper is going to be in a very precarious spot. We'll see. He's going after the TC. I think probably the best choice for the Viper over here would be to delete the castle and try to build it probably around here. But he's going to try to take the engagement right now. If he can come out on top, then he might be able to get the castle up in the end. The monks are not coming up though from Liereyy, so the Viper does end up taking a fairly decent engagement over here, but still the numbers are so high for Liereyy that he's going to end up getting a better, you know, he's going to end up cleaning the units from the Viper for the most part. Brings the monks in the end. Yeah, and the Viper's going to end up going for a castle anyway, without deleting the foundations for this one. But it doesn't seem like it's going to do much of anything to save this TC or to prevent the foundations from being destroyed. So I think Lierey's looking very strong still, despite the fact that the Viper's a heavy work account. Lierey's military lead right now is so much. The Viper could very easily end up losing the TC over here, and he's got a 10 villager lead, but he can end up losing 15 villagers if that TC goes down. So it seems like Viper's lead is potentially just disappearing if he ends up losing this position, but he does end up out-garrisoning the villagers and bringing them back. There we go. What can Franks do against Mamelukes? Mamelukes? Well, throw an Axeman. That'd be an interesting, you know, face-off actually to see. But yeah, they can just go for the pipeline units. The thing with Mamelukes is they are very, very fragile. And unless you are microing them perfectly, they're usually not worth going for because they die very easily to pikemen, range units as well. And Franks obviously are not going to have the best range units, but in the Castle Age they do just fine with skirmishes, for instance. Anyway, the engagements over here, rather the raids over here from Liereyy is looking fantastic, and the Viper is gonna keep on trying. Now, he's lost the villager lead. Lierey's pressure over here is amazing. The Viper's just gonna keep on trying because this is his tournament life on the line. And Lierey's putting so much pressure. He's gotta be on his way to the Imperial Age very soon. And the Viper's just struggling big time. But he's gonna keep on trying because this is the last chance for the Viper to keep on going over here. If he loses this one, it's gonna be over. Liereyy, on the other hand, is looking absolutely dominant. There we go. Liereyy keeps on going for more and more as well. He's got Rams into the mix. The Monk play over here from Liereyy was absolutely clutch. And this is not something you expect to see from Franks, but this is one of those situations where you're not going for what is expected from your civilization. You're not going for your civilization strength necessarily. You're going for what works. And Lierey's Monks over here came in extremely clutch, despite the fact that Franks lack Atonement, that they lack Redemption, that they lack Heresy, right? It's been really good. Lierey's made use of them. They can still convert base units, and that allowed him to get some great momentum against the Viper, and we saw it earlier, given the amount of conversions he was able to get, how much that weakened the Viper's defenses, how much that strengthened Lierey's offensive as well. And Liereyy can only throw. It seems like this is definitely Lierey's game to lose, so we'll see. He's on his way to the Imperial Age, and the Viper is going to be on his way to the Imperial Age very soon as well, which is remarkable given the position he found himself in. But Lierey's still definitely the one in the driver's seat, so well done. It's going to take about 2 minutes for Liereyy to get there, and what does he get in the Imperial Age? Well, the highest HP paladin in the game are certainly going to be a nice thing. It's going to be a nicety, right? For Franks, but against Saracens, that's not something you necessarily want to go for. Saracens, they get 10 extra HP on camels. They can go for zealotry as well, which can be really good. He's got some Mamelukes, the Viper that is. And you were asking for this. We're gonna see some of this. Lierey's Monk control has been pretty good, and he does end up converting one of the Mamelukes over to his side, and now the Viper is gonna keep on going for more. He's got double castle Mameluk production, but he's definitely on the back foot, and Liereyy, yeah, Lierey's absolutely booming right now. 5 TCs. Second castle's coming up on the left-hand side. He's got, at this point in time, presence around 70% of the map or so, and the Viper around 30% of the map presence. But in terms of map control, I think that might be even a little bit higher for Liereyy, compared to the Viper anyway. And there we go, Imperial Age is here for him. So what do we get? We have Halberdier coming up for Liereyy. University on the way now for the Viper. Is gonna be in the Imperial Age very soon. He does need this for chemistry, so that he can get bombard cannons out. Meanwhile, Liereyy is not really going for chemistry. Is not really going for trebuchets either. He's just going for halberdier, plate power than armor, and conscription. as well as Arson, so he's just going to go for full Halberdier. This is what I was talking about. Mamelukes are very susceptible to Spearline units. We'll see what we get. Very nice raids coming in from Liereyy. And there we go. Once he got to the village and it's open over there. The Viper left one hole in between the market and the wood. This is awful. Liereyy is going after the TC. Taking whatever villagers the Viper cannot fit inside over here. And he will end up taking this one down, getting a few extra villager picks for sure. Meanwhile, the Viper's got his own raid going on down the south, and he does end up getting a few villagers over here. The Mamelukes are very strong. He's going after these. Kim's just gonna be here very soon for the Viper as well, thus he'll get access to bombard cannons as well. And check this out though, the Mamelukes are actually doing extremely well over here. They do end up taking about 22 units, 16 of which were eco units. But now the Viper, he gets pushed away. Will end up losing a lot of villagers over here as well, and he does crumble in population. 193 population for Liereyy versus 131 for the Viper. It's gonna take a miracle to bring the snake back over here. He might end up getting one of the castles down from Liereyy, but because they are so cheap for Liereyy civilization, the Frankish castles over here, he does have another one on the way. And he's got great momentum on the left-hand side. He's got great raids going on around everywhere around Viper's base. He will end up taking the TC down over here in the end. These villages will be completely exposed as now Liereyy does end up breaching through the house foundation over here. He's coming in and he gets more and more raids coming in. There we go. And the Viper, he calls that GG. 3-1 series. Final score for Liereyy, who moves on to the semifinals, knocking the defending champion, the Viper. This is Lierey's opportunity to take on Red Bull Wololo's LAN events. It's gonna be moving on and contesting, of course, the throne over here, as the Viper does not have the chance anymore. We'll skip the achievements and go right back. Incredible. Man.
Thanks very much, boys, and I'm joined here by Liereyy, triumphant after that incredible set you played against the Viper. Liereyy, first things first, let's get it out of the way, mate. How do you feel?
So many feelings, I can't even describe it. Unexpected, amazing, shocked, all those things at once, and even more.
We actually got a proper answer for that question one time, too.
I was waiting for the right moment. You know?
Liereyy, I'm so pleased to be sitting here with you, mate. You are the most decorated player here at Red Bull Wololo. You're a champion of this Empire Wars format. But going up against the Viper must have been hard for many reasons, not the least of which was this was a direct rematch of the final last year. How did that play into your feeling heading into the match?
I think I was the underdog. I didn't perform that well this tournament, and I haven't seen much from Viper, but from what I could hear, he wasn't in good shape. So, underdog role. And yeah, I mean, we already played so many times before. We know each other's styles, we know each other's preferences, and it's always a blast, always some things happening, you always learn something new. It's just a great match, so.
Well, we're all obviously very happy to see you get through to the semi-finals. You'll be playing in front of a live studio audience. Let's not forget this event that's taking place next weekend. Does that raise the pressure for you at all, or are you going to just come and play your best Age of Empires?
That's what I'm going for, like I live for this moment, I live to play in front of the crowd. I started when I was 14 to play in front of the crowd, so those are just the moments I live for.
All right, well, I want to talk to you about these games, at least some of them that we saw here. Let's talk about aggression. We've seen throughout the last couple of days people being very proactive, right? Getting out in the front foot and swinging the fists around. Not so much in these finals, or in these quarters, I should say. I suppose it's because just generally players are more evenly matched, perhaps, and so aggression isn't always rewarded. But those sneaky archers in game number 4, tell us about that. Tell us about that opening.
I just knew that my style is aggressive. I stick to my roots, it's just what I live for, it's just what I'm good at, it's just what I love, and that fits Empire Wars, so why would I change it? We have seen what happens when I try to change it against Tato, it didn't work out that well. So I just decided to always be on the pressure, pressure side, always be the aggressor. And yeah, if you're the aggressor, you can do some stuff. You can do more stuff than when you're defending.
Well, I feel like we saw that in game number 3 as well, with you playing as the Magyars. Viper trying to set up his eco on the water. It looked like your pressure sort of kicked in before he was able to get any payoff from the fish. Again, the aggression kind of rewarding you in that situation?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, his man-at-arm opening, I think, didn't pay off because it was a bit unfortunate that he didn't scout me right away. We were both equally weird positioned, I would say. So I defended that quite well. Maybe expected a scout opening as well. Obviously, archers do wreck man-at-arms, so those were pretty useless. But I did like his strategy, so definitely something to think about for next upcoming days. But I played that map 1,000 times or something, I have a feeling of it, so it worked out in the end.
It's good to see you back at your best, mate. There were a couple of fumbles and stumbles earlier on in the weekend, but it really does seem like you're firing on all cylinders. Liereyy, finally, I want to talk about the weight of expectation, right? I don't think pressure affects you all that much based on how I've seen you play, but as the most decorated player, in the Wololo series, with 2 titles under your belt already, my question is twofold. First of all, what do you have to do, like psychologically, I guess, to gain that, to get that confidence that you need? And secondly, what does it mean to you to become a 3-time champion?
Good questions. First question, the human mind is something very specific, It's crazy how things work. People just perform differently under pressure, not under pressure. It just depends, like, you always stick to your roots, know where you come from, know where you belong. And just gotta work on yourself. It's something that goes a long way. So yeah, I'm not a psychologist, but I think I'm in a good way.
And as for becoming the 3rd champion, that'd be, I imagine.
It would be the dream, My first win here on the LAN event, in Heidelberg in the castle, in this stage, Red Bull. There's nothing better than that.
Coming so close last year as well.
Thank you for reminding.
I still feel so bad about that interview, man.
There are better topics to talk about.
We had to do a losers interview, and I was like, oh man, I'm just going to get in there and be like, hey, you lost? How do you feel about that? How do you feel, Liereyy?
Yeah, how are you feeling? Yeah, I remember that question.
Oh, well, look, mate, maybe this is an opportunity for you to do one better. Look, I want to thank you for joining us here. It's been a pleasure to watch you play. It's been a pleasure to talk to you. You got a whole week now, more or less, to prepare yourself. Actually, what does that involve for you, the next week? Preparation for obviously, the biggest stage that we've ever seen in this game.
I'm going to take some days off, I'm going to watch some AoE 4. Not AoE 4, but you see the people, how they behave, and, what they have in store for AoE 4 as well, the crowd, all that stuff. But I'm just going to chill, relax for coming days, and then on Thursday, Friday, Wednesday, I'm going to prepare.
All right, well, we're looking forward to seeing the result of that preparation. Liereyy, congratulations in the semi-final. Looking forward to seeing you.